Yeah, I don't think Sozeman used an E-tank in that last race either. He just used the M-tank, which is part of the world record script. So no complaints there.
So back to race 2, back to Concrete Man, and back to good old Pea Shooter for most of this stage, because we don't have anything else. We're coming here to get one of our most important items. So Concrete Man stage, as we repeated, is not the fact that we use utilities here or lack thereof. It's the fact we come here to get the concrete shot, which is probably one of the best weapons / utilities in the game.
Yeah, you saw it used not just for jumps, not just for freezing magma beams, but pretty much every mid-boss in this game takes, it feels like 3 hit points of damage from one shot of concrete. So you really just want it. Sozeman, no trouble with the elephants. Khanster done with the first one, working on number 2. The third one's the dangerous one because of the pits, and we saw him take it a little safe here. Crashing into the elephants at any phase of this sequence is not a bad idea because it gets you to the edge of the screen that much faster.
Yeah, but of course we gotta take stock of your damage because you don't want to take too much damage from the rest of the screen before getting to Concrete Man. But regardless of the matter, these two are trucking along pretty smoothly. Sozeman going to this final platforming challenge before heading to the concrete door. Khanster a few screens behind, but still going on solid, taking a solid stride. So let's see how Sozeman takes on concrete.
Khanster's still here. Soze getting the initial charge. Concrete only really has those 3 attacks: charge, jump, and lob a bunch of shots. And I think Concrete Man can't go more than 3 attacks between concrete shots. So you can kind of anticipate it in that department. Really, all 3 of his attacks, though, you want to just be in his face, firing the buster, and just jump away from him a little bit. You'll either jump over his charge, jump out of the way of his own jump, or jump on top of the concrete shot.
Well, you saw Sozeman did all those things very succinctly. Khanster kind of having a little bit issue. Concrete Man not giving him much of an option. He's going to the air quite a bit. Yeah, he's taken to the air quite a bit. So Khanster's fight, as a consequence, is getting a little slow. But he does wind up taking him out, so he's going to be on his way to his next stage shortly.
And Khanster has a plan in that fight, it looks like. He's always walking away from that concrete shot, so he's dodging it most of the time. It's not a bad strategy. He's still getting through that fight relatively quickly. Let's see if Soze has more luck with that middle lava beam section here. It doesn't really cost anything to go for it because you're going to get a large drop for ammo here anyway. Yeah, he didn't like it, so he just kind of did that.
So once again, you're seeing concrete put to use, using it as a platform, using it as a minor zipping tool as you go low to the ground and get yourself into the concrete hitbox. You can get a small pixel zip, which does utilize probably about a couple of frames of extra speed. But otherwise, yeah, you even saw it, as we said, it shreds mid-bosses like nothing. So you can see why Concrete First is such an important routing choice.
Yep. Which I think makes it, I want to say it's not first for Proto Man, but at the same time, it's just still too useful. There's other considerations that go into that route. Soze nails that zip the first try this time.
Khanster's gonna have to take another pass for the Chinky Maker before he destroys him, but still an overall quick fight. Speaking of fights, we got Sozeman going to the Magma fight, which is gonna be a pure buster affair. So the thing about Magma Man, you got to be wary of his jumps. He can randomly jump low or jump high. Regardless of the matter, you're pretty just gonna have to keep in step and just plug him with buster shots throughout the entire time. You would like to assume that we would like to have Tornado Blow for it, but as mentioned before, we would like to we go to Tornado Man a little later because of how the routing is chosen.
Sozeman surviving that fight this time as compared to the last time where it was just a breeze. Khanster coming through this last screen of magma. It's scaring me. But you can see him too, just playing it safe, and you can just see how those cycles of lava beams near the end just eat up time as you have to wait for that cycle to go by. Definitely better to do that than to waste all of your concrete and have more trouble with the last few jumps of the stage, though.
Yeah, the last few jumps of magma are some of the widest jumps in the entire game, and it comes at the very end. So Khanster786 concrete shots to use them to help make the jumps is a very wise decision. Meanwhile, we got Sozeman starting up on Galaxy Man stage, which, as Cav subsequently say the first time we were here, this is pretty much Rush Coil Central.
Yep. There's always a couple of stages in every Mega Man game, and I'm starting to say this more and more now, where it's like, it's just the stage where you use Rush all the time. And it's great to me because it kind of proves that there's a use for all these utilities in these games. Khanster barely surviving that magma fight, toughing it out with the 1 hit point. Very good. Very nicely done.
But yeah, it's always kind of interesting to see the level design of Mega Man 9 work and how the utilities just work in its favor. As you can see, it's like the developers just know that these weapons and these utilities they want them to be usable. There's a reason why Mega Man 9 has probably the single best weapon sets in the entire series. Even the Rush Coil usage can be pretty optimized very well, and you're seeing it proven in this stage here.
Soze again gonna clear out those UFOs before kind of going for it. We're looking, like we said at the start of this race, what can he do to kind of make that time even better and get closer to 33. But then again, in a race, those are 2 or 3 seconds that are very well spent.
Oh, we got one swoop. A swoop! 2 swoops!
Part of this complete breakfast.
Raisins are optional. But yeah, that was the pattern that we were hoping to see Galaxy Man do in every single fight. Of course, since RNG is not guaranteed, but that is indeed the best pattern. 2 swoops, never going to the air, just plug him with the 7 concrete shots that kills him. Easy, quick fight.
Yeah, that's what you want to see. It's not the easiest thing in the easiest thing in the world to jump over him while hitting him with all those concrete shots either. So good of Sozeman to execute on the 2 swoops as well. He's taking the extra hit here. Those mine carts, they're in a few stages in this game, and every time you hit them, they release that shot at you. The way they turn back at you, the timing is a little tricky at first to pick up for how to jump over them. So they're just really annoying enemies. And there's a lot of situations in this game where, you know, you get hit once, you throw off the script, and you're just stuck for a little bit. But he's through. We're going up to that flower.
We're going to see where the positioning of the flower is this time around. It wasn't favorable the first time around for Sozeman, but let's see if we get the God Flower. That is the exact same spot that it was for him the first run.
Yeah.
So not too good, not too bad, but not too good either.
Khanster getting 1 swoop, not able to really capitalize on it perfectly. Soze once again having a nice middle section of Hornet Man stage here. Those platforms with like the flexing vines, I don't know what else to call them. Not the easiest thing. It's not like terribly difficult to get through them with concrete shot, but there is like some amount of precision that's going on there. It takes a little bit of practice to get that down. And it's very easy to get thrown back onto the spikes. So let's see this Hornet fight. Again, you know, the Magma Bazooka, the damage kind of stacks. You want to hit with all the parts of that shot just to do even more damage. And the bees here, the Hornets, I guess, coming out conveniently, just aligned perfectly for that triple shot. Not the cleanest fight from Sozeman there, but it was a fast fight.
Yeah, as long as you're able to have some kind of steady motion to kill Hornet Man as quickly as possible and not have the fight completely get away from you, it would still qualify as a pretty decent fight. So next up we got Jewel Man. As not to overly repeat myself, but it's still relevant because, as I mentioned in the first race, it feels really ROM hack like because the placement of the enemies and the placement of the spikes, which you wouldn't normally see in most Mega Man games, this is just a really rough stage to go through in a normal context. But Sozeman is just running through these stretches, well, at least the first simple stretch, pretty cleanly with the Buster.
And switching to the bees here. Very convenient because they just track down everything.
Yeah, speaking of which, the one thing we really didn't cover too much, we talked about it shortly, but the reason we have it out is mostly for this cheese ball fight. It is convenient for the spiders that along before we get to this point, but the Hornet Chaser is actually able to chase down the cheese ball even before it comes down, and once it gets hit, it immediately falls, so you can plug him while he's on the ground with whatever weapon you got. In this case, he used the magma bazooka, but you can also see concrete shot used as well.
Magma bazooka just also really nice for the second half of the stage. Able to get those diagonal vertical shots here to take out the spiders. We're switching to black hole here. Like we said, it's a great option for clearing things out in general. And in this specific case, you're going to switch to it for the boss anyway, so why not? See, Khanster did take a death on the screen earlier, just didn't have enough hit points to get through these flower launchers. Sozeman here with another great looking jewel fight.
Yeah, working Jewel Man's AI script towards his advantage. Pretty much kind of like resetting his hitbox every time he jumps. Because, of course, as we mentioned, when you jump, he jumps. And he's pretty much just using that to kind of reset his hitbox so he can take multiple hits from the same black hole bomb.
Khanster working on Hornet Man here. Looks like it's going to be a relatively short fight. Had a little trouble, actually, with that second set of bees. But taking care of business.
Sozeman going to splash from our options here now that we got Rush Jet. So of course with this particular routing, up until this point, you can choose either plug or splash. But as long as plug is before tornado, is that this decision in routing pretty much lies. But of course, like we said, we got the Rush Jet, and the main reason we got the Rush Jet is for a couple of major platforming skips that we're going to be seeing in a couple of screens.
Yeah, Rush Jet is just extremely valuable for all of these stages. The bubble skip here being the bigger of the two, but Rush Jet definitely saves time later in the stage as well with the little water platforms. So Soze missing the jump there. It's not the easiest thing in the world here again, because you do have those spikes over your head. That's the midpoint, but it's still slower to take the death than it is to just fall down a screen.
You also got to keep in mind that they are using the smaller bubbles to get to these areas as fast as possible. The short bubbles having a lesser time fraction before they pop compared to the larger bubbles. So of course, if you stand on the bubbles too long, you wind up falling and you're pretty much in the same position as you were, as if you just plain missed a jump.
Sozeman again here, just like skipping the spawning of several of these platforms by getting Rush summoned in the right spot. Still has enough Rush here to kind of get through go over the water section just a little bit faster. Khanster is also past the cheese ball and Jewel now. Good pace for Khanster.
Equipping the Hornet Chaser, about to take on our Splash Woman. Splash Woman is chased by the Hornets, but the thing is, they'll probably be distracted by the fish as well. So you're trying to position the Hornets in such a way that they're mostly focused on Splash Woman and not on the fish for the fastest possible kill. A few shots got away, but overall, still a pretty decently quick fight.
Very nice. First fight race, he definitely had like the superior kill there. Khanster working on this swing here to the point that the swing itself is starting to go into the side spike, so gotta be a little careful there.
To me, that's one of my worst screens in the game. We talk about Wally 2 and that one particular jump, trying to work with the swings to try to get down to the pit below it. Back in the day, that was a lives chewer for me.
Yeah, that screen's just awful. Sozeman with a very nice first screen here. If he gets through this, we should actually see the second block spawn just off the edge of this platform. There it is. It's still up to him when he wants to actually switch to jet, but that's kind of what you're looking for. It looks like he missed some of this next cycle, but that looks very similar to the first race, so he's playing his video game.
As we mentioned before, this stage is on a global timer from the very beginning of the stage, which does affect the Yoku blocks. So Sozeman is trying to maneuver Mega Man in such a way that he can go through the entire sections without stopping, or at worst, having the Yoku blocks get in his way.
My goodness, that last jump.
Yeah, that was a bit of a tight one. Sozeman having the presence of mind to act quickly on it, though.
Yeah, definitely. He did that, something not quite that scary, but very similar to it in the first race. So it's one of those things. If you know the block patterns, you can react to where you are in the pattern. And Sozeman definitely did that there. Sozeman approaching Plugman here. Yeah. Made the jump.
That's what I was hoping to see.
Missed it in the first race. Didn't see if Khanster went for it or got it. Khanster now into Splash Woman state as well, but here's the plug fight. You mentioned it last time. It's exact ammo. So you basically just need to make sure you're not mashing the shoot button so fast that you're firing it into Plugman's iframes. Good fight there from Sozeman. Plugman, the other thing you can do in that fight, because you can fire that shield, you just need to make sure Plugman jumps into it. There's like one or two patterns where he might dodge it. And yeah, even then it's just one shot to deal with.
So we're going up to Tornado Man stage, which is the final Robot Master in Sozeman's path. This stage is what we like to call Rush Jet Central, because we're going to be using Rush Jet to pretty much ignore most, if not all, of the major platforming gimmicks in this stage. Of course, in this particular screen, you've seen the little magnetic batteries. It's slow, it rotates around, you can't move. Well, you can't walk while riding on it. You can jump on it, but of course, since it turns around, you can be upside down. You wind up jumping into the pit of death. So we got Rush Jet. We're flying around all around the spikes, and just pretty much make that whole stretch of screens a non-factor.
And Khanster again, we noticed this in the last race, using Black Hole Bomb in these middle screens of Splash Woman. He's going to use Black Hole Bomb again in these screens you're seeing Sozeman on right now, which does... It one-shots the shield... What do you call those enemies? I can't think of it right now.
They're still Sniper Joes. There always be, always will be.
Oh, not just the Joes, but like the shield welding mask enemies flying around.
Oh, shield attackers.
Yeah, the shield attackers. Thank you. Sozeman into the rain section here. He is jumping against the wind. That's why he's moving so slowly here. But Rush Jet, no problem, just flying right through it. Platforming on those batteries in the rain is awful. Don't do it.
Of course, we got to change in wind direction where it serves to help Mega Man. As you can see, as long as you're in the air, you get a lot of speed from the wind. So Sozeman do some careful platforming and jumping to get across those single block towers on his way to Tornado Man. So for the Tornado Man fight, you would like to have Tornado Man on the ground as much as possible, and that is extreme bro behavior. Good job for our Tornado Bro.
Yeah, Plug, the only time it will be in the air is if you fire it in the air, and in that case it goes straight down, so you don't want to have to jump to hit Tornado Man. You want to just keep firing those tornadoes on the Plug balls on the ground.
Yeah, anytime that Tornado Man goes into the air, you're pretty much in for a bad time unless Tornado Man is like stuck in the ceiling, because one of the main gimmicks of the plug ball is that it goes across walls and ceilings as well. So if he's on close to a wall, close to a ceiling, it's decent. It's not the best thing in the world, but it's better than having Tornado Man just hang in the air where you just pretty much got to go point blank with the plug balls.
Khanster catching a cycle here. Done with Splash Woman into Plugman stage. Sozeman into Wily 1 again using this jewel shield on the first screen. Does take a little time to menu to it, but the reward is you don't have to worry about anything else on that screen. You just go. It's a little slower, like we said, but if you got hit more than once or twice without it, you should have just used it.
Khanster using the Hornet Chaser to its effect, getting all the goodies in that area.
Khanster's actually been collecting a lot of the 20 bolts that are lying around the stage, since E-Tanks at the shop cost a whopping 30 bolts, and there's not a lot that drops just normal bolts in this game. It feels like they're a rare drop. Of course, this is the free tank and plug as well, so definitely getting that one. Sozeman with a clean first half of Wily 1, past the dragon, and moving on to the magma beam section.
Probably gonna do like he did last time and use the concrete shot to freeze up this first magma jet, and gonna use the rush jet for the remaining areas.
Yeah, using jet to get past the first one is definitely a speedier strat, but at the same time, it's probably one of the riskier jumps you can make in the whole game. So no objections to that strat. Khanster not jumping the Big Mama, and Khanster annihilating the Big Mama.
So we're gonna see if Khanster can have a clean plug fight, while Sozeman is up to our favorite boss in the entire game.
This boss's name, at least it's not Boo Beam.
Khanster with a clean fight. Let's see if Sozeman can have just a clean fight with these spike pushers. To kind of expound on what we talk about the spike pushers in comparison to the first race, the spike pushers actually have a means of attack. As you see, their shots are actually pushing the spike balls towards you. You don't want them to actually touch them because these spike balls are one-hit kill. They do have a variety of attacks. The shorter ones are fired at an even pace, but they shoot the spikes a little short, while they have a bigger charge shot, which is slower, but also deals much more force and pushes the spike balls further. So, a wide array of attacks for a very annoying boss.
Very nice. Into Wily 2 with all the rough jumps. Khanster working his way through Tornado Man, his 8th robot. Soze again here. I haven't really seen this a lot. Using Rush Coil here. I think I've seen Rush Jet get used a lot. I've seen Rush, not Rush at all. Rush Cement is not a thing, get used on this stage. But using Rush Coil there definitely saves a lot of Rush Jet ammo, which is going to be very useful for a little bit here. Making it so that he can... Oh my god, Khanster, what are you doing? Get past the really rough jump in this game.
Khanster showing exactly why we want to skip that part. This is not a fun area to deal with. Timing the jumps with the position of where Mega Man is, whether you're riding the thing on top of it or riding below it. And Sozeman, it's like that spot is the favorite area for Sozeman for his races.
Khanster got it too, his Hornet stage this go around as well. But into this water section here, very precise shots here to actually get all those mines to chase Mega Man, but in a way that he can avoid them all. They will start chasing you either when you get, within a couple of tiles of them, or when you shoot them. So shooting them there is to bait them. That is why this stage is terrible. That jump, it's another one of those, you only have a few pixels to not bonk and actually make that jump. Sozeman just kind of went for it, didn't quite get it. Well, and we're back here. First race you saw him take his time and line that jump up, which definitely is, no arguments there at all. So we're probably going to see that again here now that he's taken the death once.
There is a reason why this is one of the worst sets of screens in Mega Man 9. The underwater fixes makes it all the more terrifying, especially with the spike ceilings. And most of the time, you're probably going to be at the very top of the area where those spike ceilings are more prevalent. So careful jumping, careful maneuvering along the edges of the platforms before making your jumps. That underwater section is just literally a minefield of death and destruction for a player of any skill.
So as Sozeman is getting through this little windy section here, getting the jump to take that shortcut, Khanster with a little bit of trolling from Tornado. I do want to call it out here. He's actually four minutes ahead of his PB pace here through 8 robots at this point. So keep going, Khanster.
Yeah, you saw what I was talking about before about Tornado Man hitting the ceiling and the plug ball just going and traveling around the areas, the walls and the ceilings. That's what probably a semi-bro effect put Tornado Man being in a position for the plug ball to work. Meanwhile, we still got Sozeman just tearing through the Mega Mech Shark.
And using Tornado here on that second part just to kind of not even worry about having to jump into it. It's a little slower, I think, only because of the menuing, but it tears the shark apart.
Of course, you're going to see Trotted on the very final phase. Very quick work, just destroying the open cannon weak point, and we got Sozeman heading towards Wally 3.
Khanster spending all of those bolts he's been collecting, making sure he has a stockpile of E-tanks just in case.
So, Resident Sleeper 3, which is pretty much called as such because of one of the main gimmicks of this stage, the floating, rising gravity as auto-scroller type portions, where you pretty much have no means of movement to make the area faster. You just pretty much just slowly rising, pretty much avoiding all the mini devils along the way.
We didn't say it last time. You are required to wiggle to the music. Your run's just invalid. That's the biggest meme of this stage.
Well, that's true. We can't ignore that. I did ignore that. Thank you for filling in the blank. But yeah, as I was saying, like I said, those are the Resident Sleeper portions of the stage, but as you can see with these spikes and treasure positions, as I keep saying in these races, these are stages not to be completely slept on, because when you actually get to the main platforming, the spikes that are all over the place, especially after this secondary rising pseudo auto scroller, knowing how to do your jumps and your attacks are going to be very vital to getting through the rest of the stage safely.
In this wiggle section here, yeah, just having Rush Coil, because shooting is what moves you horizontally. Rush Coil throws off the timing a little bit because you have to obviously summon Rush with the first press of the B button. And Sozeman not having any trouble at all with it. Very nice. Khanster having a heck of a time here with this dragon. Finally takes care of it.
Sozeman getting low on laser trident. We're gonna see what he's gonna use as a backup because he is running out. He decides to go use the Buster. There are some runners that use Tornado Blow to blow away all these enemies away, but the problem with Tornado Blow is the fact that one of the extra uses of Tornado Blow is the extra height, and as you can see the spike ceilings up top, that will make using Tornado Blow a little dangerous. So going to the Buster as the secondary option is, of course, not a bad idea. You can always use a trusty blue sidearm to get you through when things are going tough.
Yeah, Sozeman also out of Tornado because of the Mech Shark anyway. Using the M tank here a little early is the other option, but then you don't have as much concrete in Wily 2. This fight, though, looks good.
It is
Very
good.
easy fight.
Proper uses and timing of the black hole bombs and the pause canceling effects of removing weapons off the screen. 5 hits. Pretty clean final Sozeman on his way to Wily 4. The refights and, of course, our final Wily battle. Khanster's going on his way to his spike pusher fight. Sozeman is using damage boosting to get through these lasers, in which you would normally use the concrete shot, but concrete shot is kind of short in supply, so he's going to be sparingly using them to get by the rest of the stage, and probably going to use the
Gotta use that tank now.
Yeah, kind of had no choice. He was wanting to try to properly utilize that concrete shot and get by the laser cleanly, because there is a couple of large weapon capsules before the drop down to the refights.
Yeah. And it's definitely useful to have that M tank for after Galaxy so you can get all of your concrete shot back for Wily Machine, but when you're stuck with a Met and a farm, you've got to just use the tank. And that's 3 shots he's not going to have on the machine. That's the one other criticism I could have of his first run, is he kind of tore right through his concrete supply. So he has, 3 shots of concrete to use on the Wily machine, which is going to leave the machine with about 16 hit points, even if he hits with all 3 of those shots.
Yeah, in the second phase of the Wily machine, which is the weakness where you use the concrete shot, there are just moments where you can easily miss a concrete shot depending on the pattern that you use and the timing that you would use your concrete. So the present supply of concrete is going to be really important for Sozeman's end game. Of course, plug man down, so let's see how he fares against Magma. No double hits, so we're gonna go straight to the bazooka to do a couple of extra damage. And of course, since it's the weakness of Hornet Man, it's just a convenient change.
No panicking there in that Hornet fight, so it's still good. It's still good.
Getting a little focus on Khanster as he goes for the jump here. Wisely decides to use the rush jet and not try to make that very dangerous jump. Godflower!
But not enough ammo!
Oh, what unfortunate weapon timing. Weapon usage, weapon timing, whichever, whatever.
Magma remains the ultimate backup. Khanster's going to fill up some concrete here. Maybe an interesting choice. There's not too many uses for concrete up until Wily 4, but now he has some.
Alright, so here we go. Our Wily machine. Once again, we got our laser trident stocked and stored. Its piercing effect, its wide hitbox makes it one of the probably the easiest weapon to use to hit these eggs in order to reflect back to its mandible, which is his weak point. But here's where things get interesting, and as we already seen, he misses a concrete shot, which will already in precious supply. So now he's resorting to the Magma Bazooka to get at least potentially a couple of hits with its stacking effect.
Yeah, really not a better option here than just using the Magma Bazooka and hoping for doubles. Taking care of business.
Alright, I'll roll up the dice and let's see if we get ourselves a jackpot here.
Welcome to the casino. Health is a little low here. I think he has the tank. Not that he needs it.
Yeah, that was a pretty good casino, considering they could definitely easily could have been worse. But regardless, that is a first place finish for Sozeman. Sozeman beats Khanster 2-0 and beats him with an official SRL time of 34 minutes and 55 seconds.
Very well done for Sozeman. Another 34, even with that death. So, very nice.
While Khanster is taking on the Mega Mech Shop, we're going to see if we can get Sozeman for a short interview.
Khanster just kind of biding his time here, waiting for the shark to come down.
Kind of taking a little bit of a beating.
Oh, that's why he bought all those E-Tanks.
Gonna decide to continue on using the laser trident, as it's also a weakness for the second portion. Of course, as you most would know, the laser trident is weak for all three phases.
Khanster taking a few too many hits here, but still not doing too bad. According to his splits here, looks like he's still on a PB pace of about 4 minutes, so we're going to stick around and cheer him on. Into Wily 3, which, like you said, it's a little bit of a sleeper almost, I guess, because like you just got through Wily 2 and all of its insane spike jumps, its boss with 3 phases, and now we get to wait in a vertical section. Khanster opting to just kind of take the normal jump in here. It's definitely, like I was kind of hinting at earlier, if you're coming in here with Rush Coil, it's a little trickier sometimes to maneuver. While Khanster's going through Wily 3 here, I think we have Sozeman here in voice chat. Are you here?
I'm here.
GG.
Thank you.
And I think we have to say grats on that PB in the first race.
That was like a 20-second PB. I couldn't believe it.
Oh wow, that's some good stuff here.
I've been practicing offline a lot. More than anything, safety strats, by the way. I don't know if you noticed, but I do a lot of things for safety when I race.
In the first race, we saw the wiggles there in Wily 2. Second race, we saw why you did the wiggles there. Honestly, a lot of people do those wiggles there.
I told myself I would always tiptoe that jump. I decided not to the second round and paid for it. I could have PB'd. I was 20 seconds ahead of PB on the second race.
Yeah, because you, even with that death, you were pretty close to, you were in the 34 range.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, very well done.
Thank you. Yeah, I surprised myself, honestly.
Before we continue on, we'd like to welcome the main Speed Gaming channel, as unfortunately Khanster takes a little bit of a death in the vertical scroller in Wily 3. Fortunately, he's at the checkpoint, so he's able to have a second shot. But yet again, welcome Speed Gaming. This is LV Cree with Mr. Cab on comms, here with Sozeman, who's actually is our winner of this particular race, 2-0 against Khanster. So speaking of the winning, if I can pull up the actual tournament standings right quick. Let's see, where are you placed right now?
This, I believe, makes Soze 1-1 with a loss to Sarant. Was your first race against Sarantian or Krebelstar?
Yeah, it was against Soren. Or Saran, however you pronounce it.
So that leaves you, yeah, it's on the schedule here for tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern. Sozeman against Krebelstar for the climactic finish here almost of Group E.
Me and Krebel will be an interesting race. He and I are pretty similar in skill level, so that's going to be one to watch. He and I have had some really close races in Mega Man 3 in the past.
And if the bracket's kind of shaping up to seeding, it's probably going to be whoever wins that race that moves into the bracket stage. So good luck tomorrow.
Thank you. And I see Krebel in chat. Good luck to you too, man.
We've got Krebel out there too for the pre-race smack talk here. Anything either of you are like particularly looking out for going into tomorrow? As Khanster here gets 2 hits on that first phase of Twin Devil. Not the easiest thing, but he got anything to cut down on cycles because each one is worth 20 seconds.
I can guarantee you that both me and Krebelstar are wary of Magma Man stage. We call it the equalizer.
Well, you did very well in both Magma Man stages on both your races, but I do kind of notice that you kind of got a little gung ho the first time you did it because you went for that one particular Magma Zip twice.
The last one, yeah. If you got to be on like the very exact pixel. If you're too close, you die. If you're too far away, you can't zip through. So it's like his face, like the edge. The right edge of Mega Man's face has to be right up against that beam. You fire concrete and you can jump through it, but it didn't work out for me the first time.
A little too fidgety there in that fight and just jumped into the pieces of Twin Devil.
Oh no!
I don't know if he still has that M tank or not, because right now what he really needs is black hole. He's got the tank, so he can use that after one shot at least.
He's on. We know he's on PB pace. He's probably going to be really rolling a thin line on his PB thanks to this. But of course, he does decide to pop that M tank, so he will have some black hole bomb to try to finish off this devil fight. But he's going to be some interesting weapon supply when he starts up Wally 4.
He's going to have an interesting black hole bomb situation for Jewel Man. That's the one thing to look out for here.
So you have any other further words or comments, Sozeman, while we still have you around?
There's some, I see every now and then people in the chat ask about running this game. I want to say that it is a tough game, but it is very accessible. I feel like this is an easy game to pick up, easy to learn, hard to master. And Legacy Collection 2 is probably your best bet for getting started. Because you can do time attacks, individual boss fights, things like that. Like I practiced Wily over and over and over again, just as an example. So yeah, if anybody's interested in this game, it's super fun. And check out Legacy Collection 2 if you're interested. And also, thank you guys for commentating, and thank you SpeedGaming for having me.
Thank you for being a part of our race. That was our winner, Sozeman. Once again, our winner in this particular group match, 2-0 over Khanster, who I'm not sure is still on PB pace. Cab, do you have info on that?
Do you want the dark truth?
Oh boy.
That was a gold split. So a reminder here, this is actually a good point to bring that up because we are talking about getting started with the game. Khanster entered this tournament. I think he was our only entrant with a time that was over an hour coming in. And obviously he's well on his way now to cutting that down a lot closer to 50, if not even below that. These tournaments have been a great way throughout the years to get a lot of people, involved in a new speed game. And sometimes it's not about winning the tournament. It's about just getting in with the community, having a good time, and really finding a reason to play that game and bring your race down. If you are following Khanster right now through that link out there in chat, and you're wondering why am I saying do that, I mean, Khanster's actually got a pretty good time in Mega Man X more than anything in the Classic series. So by all means, follow the runners here and don't be afraid to join these tournaments. You see, there's a Mega Man 9 tournament here, but there's other tournaments on SpeedGaming all the time. If you feel like, hey, that's a video game I play, that's a video game I like, just jump in.
Yeah, don't be intimidated by skill levels or coming up against top level runners. We had quite a number of players that come in, don't care probably more of a casual pace and still just come in for the joy of racing or just playing the game that you love. It's more just, oh,
Hell yeah! That
neat
is, I
achievement.
believe, the achievement for killing Concrete Man in 10 seconds or less. Good job.
Nice.
Or you can
Got
come in
him.
the tournament and just have that happen all of a sudden.
That was actually happening on the ESA stream recently because it was a console that hadn't played the game a lot. So
I'm hoping we see a PB here from Khanster.
you gotta just keep hoping for that casino, I guess.
So I'm using one more extra black hole bomb to make sure that Jewelman is thoroughly defeated. Paul made a slight menu error. He probably had Magma Man on the mind with the Magma Bazooka, but wound up going to Tornado instead. But he got Tornado in hand, and he's going to be taking out Hornet Man shortly.
That full charged Magma Bazooka at point blank against Hornet just ends him. Nah. This might have been a place where you might want to stay on Magma a little bit just to get those first few hits, because unless you get the double hit, you're going to go to something for a backup anyway. You just go to Buster, I guess. You know, it's only 4 hit points.
All right. Will Tornado be a Bronado yet again? The RNG says... Kinda, sorta.
As long as he's on the ground, that's a terrible. Oh my goodness!
Yeah, that was a few pixels away from death.
Yeah, pixels is not the word you want to be saying there. You want to say tiles, but oh, he's through it.
Pixels, tiles is all relative to me. It was still close to in those spikes.
All right, can we cut the 50?
He got plenty of time to do it. All that's left now is just dealing with these 3 phases. So once again, we got the laser trident. It's the easiest method of hitting these small little explosive eggs to put back in his mouth for massive damage.
And this, you see people kind of bounce the eggs back a lot, and that's the fast way of doing this. You can be a little slower and a little more consistent with this, and part of it even comes down to like damage. But that laser trident hitbox definitely helps you a lot in this compared to just using lemons.
Yeah, it kind of like if you don't know how to do it rapidly, it's better to try to get into a state of rhythmic motion in terms of trying to get the eggs into the correct position to hit him in his jaw, because as you can see, the moment you kind of get off rhythm shooting these eggs can just go completely AWOL, and just it's a pain to try to hit on that third or final hit.
And you can see here too, because once you're off script, you're just kind of hoping the eggs work out for you. He's already going to just reach for the E-tank here. Go to the concrete shot. Looks like he's going to have not enough ammo one way or the other, so let's see.
Welcome SpeedGaming 2 to the conclusion of this particular matchup between Sozeman and Khanster for our Mega Man 9 80% Go for Broke tournament. Sozeman has officially beaten Khanster 2-0, but right now Khanster is on PB pace as far as we know, and hopefully by the time this is over, we'll have a brand new PB on Khanster's end, even though we have a losing effort on his end. Remember, it's not always about winning the race. Sometimes it's about winning the race against yourself.
Wily Capsule can be a little annoying. That one attack there with the tracking shots, probably the harder pattern to dodge. The 4 ball shots there that kind of spread out, The easy way to dodge that, because you usually see that from a high position, if you stand directly underneath the capsule and jump straight up as they close in on you, you should be able to dodge it almost every time. Khanster does get a couple of good patterns here. Just waiting for this last opening.
I want to call you out on calling this fight a little annoying, considering how dumb the RNG can be. But Wally finally decided to be friendly towards him, and we got ourselves a finished match. Khanster finishing his run with official SRL time of 50 minutes and 28 seconds. But of course, you see on the screen it's a little bit faster because I think that's probably a PB wanted to hit that split fast.
That is a 7-minute, 12-second PB for Khanster here. Very well done. And this time. Why does Mega Man 9 have the best ending?
See if we can get Khanster in for his interview as well.
Yep. So well done from Khanster. There was a lot of Khanster's run where you saw on the 8 robots just collecting the bolts to be able to have that pile of E-tanks for the end game. Certainly just a little bit more of that one way or the other. It's all about playing your game, and he knows what he's doing. He knows where all those bolts are. He knows where to get that pile of E-tanks, and it's one of those things where the more you play the game, the less you'll need them. You're right. Those police were looking at us funny.
Of course, they gotta have someone on the payroll if they want to do their shady casino dealings.
And Mega Man should have never tried to go back into the vault.
And it looks like we do have Khanster in our Discord chat booth. So GG's Khanster for your races. It looks like you got yourself a pretty neat PB in there.
Yes, I did. That was the whole plan of me joining.
Yo, dude, congrats on the PB.
Thank you.
So, if you don't mind, Khanster, go a little bit about your runs. What made it interesting? What bothered you? You know, the whole 9 yards.
Or trash.
Well, in the concept of your run, you still managed to able to get a decent PB. So surely there is something that is non-trash like there.
Okay, the first run, I think it was Hornet. I kept dying to spikes.
You had some trouble in that middle room of Hornet. Plugman wasn't too kind to you either. Tornado Man. Oh, let's not go into the rain too much there.
What?
But it looked like the practice paid off in race 2.
You mean you guys don't jump on the battery?
Well, some do, some don't. You're just some that did.
Well,
you don't always want to just charge forward with batteries. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, nice.
I mean, I played a fan game that had the batteries in it, so I kind of got used to maneuvering with them.
Oh yeah, I'm assuming you're talking about 2.5D.
Correct.
Yeah, those rotating batteries were special. You got hung up on them quite a little bit on. I want to say what on this past run, this second race.
Yeah, but I think my biggest problem was Devil.
Yeah, just I mean, what was going on there? Is it just a matter of just staying a little more collected next time through, or
actually spending time and learning that fight?
Yeah, the devil pattern is always the devil's pattern. But you got it the second time.
Who says it's easy? I want to know that guy.
I want to know. I want to tell you that I talked to Polytopes. Polytopes just told me a couple of visual cues to go by in that fight, and like ever since, I rarely don't get it anymore. So I'm not really doing the fight more. I am looking for when to shoot, when to pause, type of stuff.
I'm just kind of winking and hoping for the best.
You know, you definitely have a lot of the core mechanics down there. Like you're getting the double hits. You're using Black Hole a lot, kind of those secondary strats that are just amazingly effective, even if they're not the fastest thing in the world. But yeah, you're down here. Do you have like a goal time that you're going to go for here now that you're basically at 50 minutes?
I kind of want to get under 40, and I'll probably call it there.
Under 40, nice.
So what do you think about the bees in, what was it? Not Jewel. Yeah, it was Jewel. The bees in the second half of Jewel.
I mean, bees are always a good idea just because they'll hunt down those enemies. They'll clear them out. I mean, there's like the nice thing about the weapon set in this game is there really are always like 2 or 3 choices for how to get through a screen. Whether it's hornets, whether it's black holes, whether it's magma, really all of them will clear out enemies late in the game. Obviously, tornado isn't something you have early on, but like there's a lot of stuff that will just wipe out the enemies.
Yeah, the weapon set in Mega Man 9 is extremely versatile. It's like there's almost like a backup for another backup with the weapons you got in the game. So the uses of bees is actually a pretty novel idea and something that I'm pretty sure any player will actually decide to do. So I know I don't have any problems with it.
I just use the bees kind of like, I don't want to use up all my black hole.
No, that's fair. It's one of those things where you have to know where you're going to need the weapon energy on your own end and adapt to that as you go.
Wily was such a jerk.
He's always a jerk.
Sounds like most races.
In my my first match, he was actually really nice. In my race, I guess against Credible Star, he was super nice.
Well, it works out. You had the E-tanks to go through with it, so GG, sir.
I had an abundance of them.
Yeah, man. Again, GG on the PB, dude. Race PB feels good too.
One thing I didn't know, the bees could grab the bolts in plug stage.
Yeah, I think the only thing the bees won't grab are E-tanks, and I haven't ever actually really tried to grab the M-tank, but I'm assuming it wouldn't grab that either.
You probably wouldn't have a chance to even try to grab that that one particular M tank. No, actually you might have.
I mean, you could contrive a situation to do it, but it's so easy to get it.
So what are the thoughts on the achievement during the refights?
We had a blast with it.
That probably cost you a second on your PB, so it's good to have that out of the way.
I mean, I just had to reinstall the game.
Yeah,
Not too
congrats
long
on
ago.
Almost Invincible and Air Shoes.
Hell yeah.
All right. Any final words for the two of you before we cut it around here, fellas? Khanster, Sozeman.
Well, again, thanks everybody for hanging out, and thanks for commentating, and thanks SpeedGaming for having us. And I'm looking forward to tomorrow.
Pretty much what he said.
All right. Before we close it out, we want to give you a rundown of our Mega Man 9 tournament schedule, especially since tomorrow is gonna be a really, really hefty race day. All of our 4 upcoming races are set for tomorrow, starting with coming up and all these times are Eastern U.S. We got our first match tomorrow, Sunday at 10 o'clock in the morning with Time Link and Stunt Rooster. Then coming up 2 hours after that at noon, we got BTFM after going up against Slash Arbiter. A few hours after that at 3 p.m., we got Volrath versus Flalum. Well, of course, those that are no closer to him as Hyper, so use name sparingly. And of course, we just come with our winner today, Sozeman. He's going to be up at 9 o'clock at night going against Treble Star in our finale of a 4-race day set. So Sunday is going to be stacked with some Mega Man 9 action. We don't have current Speed Gaming channels right now, but if you stay tuned to those channels, we will have them available when the race time comes. Of course, thanks Speed Gaming for hosting the events. And of course, Cav, got some things to say before we close out here?
I just wanted to echo that. Thanks, Speed Gaming, for letting us mess around and play Mega Man 9 on the channels here. Shout outs to our runners. Definitely follow them. Got their channel names out in chat. And like we said, if you're watching this on YouTube later, it's spelled just like it is on screen, twitch.tv/Khanster786 and Sozeman. If you're sticking around here on the Speed Gaming family of networks right now, the next thing I see on their calendar is actually at midnight. So in about 15 minutes on Speed Gaming Prime, there should be a tournament race for Kirby and the Amazing Mirror. Fun. I believe that one's on Game Boy Advance.
Yeah, Kirby Amazing Mirror is a Game Boy Advance game.
And
I heard Kirby's cute.
Kirby's cute.
Friggin' memers.
After that, your Speed Gaming schedule picks up at 6 a.m. with Azure Dreams before those 10 a.m. races of Mega Man 9. More Kirby and more Super Mario World, No Cape, No Star World. That's going on too. So definitely follow the Speed Gaming family of networks if you haven't already. Definitely follow our runners. And just thanks for showing up, everybody.
And with that, for Mr. Cav 55, this is your boy LV Creed, wishing y'all a very happy and very pleasant rest of Saturday or Sunday, depending on where you're on your time zones. And until the next race, we will see you all later. So good night, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Later.